So if I was to give advice to an artist that wanted to become successful, I would say chase like attention for your work, but yeah, it still has to be true to you, because if not, you're gonna like burn out fast. I feel like I'm 4 years in because I was doing that anyway. Now there's just the camera on me, but this is what I'm about from before, so it's not that hard to stay consistent. My name is Devon Rodriguez. I'm an artist from the Bronx, born and raised in the South Bronx, and art saved me. Like, I feel like as long as I focused on my art, I was able to like navigate through some of like the roughest areas, and I feel like art like took me out of that. So the first tattoo I got was when I was 14. I got it removed. It was like a nautical star right here. And like, you know, my dad was a tattoo artist. I didn't really see him because he left when I was 3, but I would see some magazines that my mom would show me. And like, he had tattoos with his name and these printed magazines, and I couldn't believe it because I went to like, you know, the worst schools, and you know, I saw like violence like really, really young. And so I didn't expect anybody that was attached to me to be in tattoo magazines. Seeing that he was my dad and everybody gave me respect on the streets because that was my dad, and I was just like, wow, that's so cool. Like, I want to be an artist, but I also naturally love to draw. Yeah, I was just like, this is perfect. Even since like first grade, you know, my teachers would ask me like, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? And it was always, I want to be an artist. And it was like never a question of, am I gonna be, is like, this is the only thing I know how to really even do or think about. So I remember in high school, I was all about drawing. I was all about, you know, after school, I would go to the Art Students League. I did art in school, and my teachers used to like, my teacher had a club called the Old Hat Club, where, you know, we would just sit and have a student posing, and he would paint the student, and we would all be drawing and painting the student every single day. And then after school and the summer times, I would go to the Art Students League to draw nudes all day. Like, so this is all I cared about. And like, I was so single-minded. And my best friend, Craig, who's also an artist, he would tell me like, yo, this new app came out called Instagram. You gotta like start posting your art. And Instagram just came out, and I was like, nah, because I heard about it from like friends, and it was always like girls. And I remember telling him like, girls just post butterflies and flowers on there. Like, that's not, like, I want to be like high art, you know, like I don't want to be a part of that. And then he just kept telling me like after the months, like, dude, you got to post your stuff on Instagram. Like, look how it's going, you could connect. And I was like, nah, like I was like a purist. I was like, I'm not for that. 5 months passed by, and like, then everyone's on Instagram, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna join. So I remember senior year of high school, a guy from Texas wanted to buy this big painting that I made, and just from Instagram, and then I was just like, yeah, it's $700, and he bought it. And for like a high school kid, that's like so much money. And I was like, you know what? Okay, if I do 2 portraits a week for 500, and I started to do the math, and I'm like, wait a minute. I was already friends with like older artists that already went to college, and you know, I saw how hard it is for most people. So I was like, let me just try to like stick to what I'm seeing happening right now. I remember during the pandemic, I started to see like TikTok was like blowing up. Like, everyone was stuck at home and just, you know, focused on TikTok. And I was like, you know what, maybe this could work for artists. I posted like a few art videos, and I only got like 500 views. And I would just post videos of me working on my client commission portraits. And I wouldn't get any views, and I was like, maybe it's because people don't know who these people are, so maybe I gotta paint celebrities. And then I'll do celebrities, I'll get like 1,000 to 2,000 views. And I was like, this isn't it. Like, I tried like 30 different art ideas before a month later, I was just like, all right, let me just draw people on the subway. I drew this guy and I posted the video. And then I remember like an hour later, the views were at 200,000, and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And by the end of the day, it was at 5 million. And that 5 million the 5 million views got me 100,000 followers. So I was like, wow, this is pretty powerful. But I feel like if it doesn't work tomorrow, then it's like, I got lucky. Then the next day I did another one, and I'm like, please get 5 million views, like just like the first one. And then it got 21 million views. So now I'm at 300,000 followers. And I'm like, 300,000 followers day 2? Like, I was living with my grandma, and I'm like, Grandma, I'm gonna be so famous. And she's like, what? Like, I'm like, trust me, like life is gonna change. And she's like, what makes you say that? And I'm like, the algorithm, like, you know, in 2 days, the same video, consistency. And she's like, no, but how do you know? I'm like, just trust me. I don't know what was going on, but I'm like, I'm gonna go with this. I always tell my friends that are artists like that want to blow up on social media, I'm like, you have to mix your art with something that's like bigger than that niche, you know? Like, not too many people in society care about portrait drawings, maybe like 1%, who knows? But like if you mix it with making the portrait a gift to make someone happy and there's like a wholesome quality to it, then like that opens it up to everyone's interested in that, you know? So it's like, you know, growing up in the Bronx, I've been friends with all kinds of people. Like, you know, like my dad had face tattoos, and you come to realize like everyone's just like normal, right? But people see people with face tattoos and get so intimidated and they're so afraid and they assume that they're like monsters or criminals or whatever. So I just want to highlight people that look different than the norm and then show like these are nice normal people, and if you just sit down and get to know them or really interact with them, then you would know that. But people, I feel like since they like me, they're more open to like watching these videos and they're like, oh wow, like I was so surprised, he's so wholesome, you know? So it's just to get people to see like, you know, just because somebody looks different than you doesn't mean you have to shy away. Or it like became that, because I was just like blindly making portraits of people. I just love people and like people watching and like listening to people and just capturing that. And then it sort of organically became that. So if I was to give advice to an artist that wanted to become successful, I would say, you know, first focus on their craft and get good enough, because it took me, you know, like 10 years before I felt like I was good enough to even put my work out there on Instagram. So I would say focus on like getting good enough first, and then after that, chase like attention for your work, but yeah, it still has to be true to you, because if not, you're gonna like burn out fast. I feel like I'm 4 years in because I was doing that anyway. Now there's just the camera on me, but this is what I'm about from before, so it's not that hard to stay consistent. Try to open it up to the masses, you know, like instead of me just doing portraits, I did one little switch up, just handing it over, and then, you know, it blew up, and then I stayed consistent with it. So I would just say like try to focus on, you know, the attention you could get for your work. And then that opens up doors to like anything and everything. I didn't think that I would get to this point even, you know, like even when I'm like 90 or something. And that's not to brag, it's just like, this is kind of weird how like this all happened. And it happened so fast. So for the future, I'm gonna be doing like more traveling stuff. And, you know, I started this interview series where I'm drawing and painting people and getting to know them. You know, because I went to Europe for the first time last year, and I got to realize like the world is bigger than New York. And, you know, so I'm just kind of like discovering life. All right, so my name is Devon Rodriguez. Thank you so much for watching. I have a new oil painting course if you guys want to learn how to paint portraits. And yeah, thank you.